Ladies and gentlemen, today we shall be discussing about sources of law. Firstly, we'll discuss about the meaning of sources of law, and then we'll discuss what are the sources of law in general. So while discussing about the meaning of sources of law, it simply means the authority from which the law derives its force. So for some jurists, source of law is the society itself, while for some others, source of law is derived from the will of the sovereign. Ladies and gentlemen, sources of law can have three meanings. The first meaning is, in formal sense, state. So it is state which makes the formal laws. The second meaning is, in literary sense, place, the place from which the law is derived. And the third sense, that which supplies matter on the content of law. John Austin, a legal scholar, gave three meanings to the sources of law. He said the direct or immediate authors are sources of law, firstly. Secondly, he said historical documents can be source of law. Thirdly, he said causes can be source of law. Causes due to which the laws are made. There might be a problem as a cause. To solve the problem, laws are made. So the cause can be the source of law. And Salmon gave two meanings to sources of law. Basically, Salmon talked about two words, formal and material. So while talking about formal, it simply means that the formal source gives validity to the law. The material source provides matter to the law. Ladies and gentlemen, in different books we find classifications such as official and unofficial sources of law, primary and secondary sources of law. Now we shall be discussing about what are the sources of law. We'll be discussing 14 sources of law, out of which the three major sources of law will be discussed first, and other 11 sources shall be set up into a formula for your easiness. So the first source of law is legislation. While we are talking about legislation, we need to understand that there are two types of legislation. One is primary legislation and another is the delegated legislation. Primary legislation is made by the parliament itself, while the delegated legislation is made by any other bodies other than the parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, the second source is custom. While describing custom, we need to remember three should be's and three should not be's. Three should be's are custom should be ancient, custom should be continuous, and custom should be reasonable. Now what are the should not be's? Custom should not be immoral. Custom should not be contrary to the justice, equity, or public order. Custom should not be contrary to the statutory law. Now we shall be discussing about precedents. So firstly, what are precedents? Precedents are previous instances or case which is or may be taken as an example or as a rule for subsequent laws. So when we discuss about precedents, we need to understand two major things. The first one is ratio decidendi and the second one is obiter dicta. Now what is ratio decidendi? We can simply understand ratio decidendi as the reasons for decision, the reasons that the justice gives while deciding a case. And what are obiter dicta? Obiter dictas are simply statements by the way through which decision is made. The other 11 sources of law can be remembered if you just remember Civid uploaded CD of Prime Minister in men's room reloaded. Well, you can remember this like there is an organization called Civid in Nepal working for children. If that organization works in Thailand, then it is going to be Civid. So Civid uploaded CD of Prime Minister in men's room reloaded. So if you remember this, you can remember 11 other sources of law. From C, we can remember civil society movements. Civil society movements have become source of law in Nepal as well as in many other countries. Then from W we can remember writings of famous authors. From I we can remember international court's decision. From T we can remember treaties, international treaties. From C we can remember conscience, public conscience can be the source of law. From D we can remember dictionaries, especially legal dictionaries are sources of law. From P we can remember political theories. From M we can remember manifesto, especially the manifesto of political parties. From M we can remember movements, wars and revolutions. These are major sources of law. From R we can remember religion. Religion is also a major source of law. From R we can remember referendum. So referendum is also vital for making laws, therefore it is source of laws. Ladies and gentlemen, for today we are completing sources of law, and we'll be coming up with other videos very soon.